Hi, I'm Judy. Welcome to Go with Yin Yoga. And today I have a short vlog for you about acupressure. You might want to look up last week's vlog about acupressure, also quite short, just a little over 5 minutes long. Just talking to a few points, if you will, that you may have had questions about. So, acupressure, which means we are holding points with our fingers. We are not inserting little, very, very thin needles into points. And yes, I have had acupuncture. Acupuncture is a different, it's similar, but different. It uses the same points, but because of the way acupuncture is done, they have to really know exactly where the point is. I'm skipping around a little bit in my little list of things I want to talk to you, but since I talked about that, I want to tell you, don't worry about pinpointing points, pun intended. Because we are using our fingers, and our fingers are much, much wider than the acupuncture needles, you're going to be holding several points most of the time. Nothing wrong with that. So in the video that follows this, we do something where we're tracing our lung meridian. We come up off of our thumb, and then we come up the inside of our arm, right? So that's where the meridian runs. And then we hold a point that's roughly around here. It's going along the lung meridian. There are a bunch of points on the lung meridian. So I suggest to you that you take several fingers and hold it where you think that point is, as I explained in the video. And you're going to get the benefit from more than one point. And it's not going to hurt you, and it might help you. Okay? So the next thing, acupressure, as I started to say earlier. How much pressure should you use? Well, the obvious thing first, you don't want to bruise yourself. You don't want to push so hard that you have bruises. That's too much pressure. It's a lot like finding our edge in Yin Yoga, right? You find the point, you may feel some soreness, and then you back off a little bit, and you might start with light pressure to begin with. And perhaps after you've been holding it for a while, you go a little deeper, just as when we are holding Yin Yoga poses for minutes. After we come to our first edge, we might want to go to another edge, go a little deeper, maybe. How long should you hold these points? Generally, I see recommendations, and again, remember, I am not an acupuncturist, I'm not a TCM practitioner, so take that for what you will. I have done some study over several years on acupressure, on TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. It's a continuing process. Even if you are a trained professional, it's something you are learning about your entire life. Okay, so how long? I see recommendations generally for about 2 minutes. Even 1 minute may be very helpful. But I will say, trust your own intuition. Maybe you do want to hold a point more time. Maybe you want to hold less time. See what that little voice inside of you says. Okay. Now, as you're doing this, you might find points that feel painful, as if you've touched on a bruise. And I can tell you for sure, I have felt this. I've been like going down my outside of my arm, and I was like, I don't remember being bruised. And I was like, oh yeah, this, what it means when we're doing that is that that point probably has some stuck energy. And it probably needs a little bit more attention, whether that's holding it a little bit longer, whether that's maybe going a little more pressure, but if it's really sore, that might be too much pressure, or maybe it's doing it several times throughout the day. And the last thing I would say, well, not almost last thing I would say, is try keeping a journal. I've been sharing just a few points here and there, which is something I will continue to do Not in every practice, but in some practices. Because this is something I use for myself. My morning practice has pretty much morphed from a Yin Yoga practice in bed to doing some energy medicine and holding some acupressure points. I'll tell you the same story I'm going to tell you in the following short practice. And that is about how I've had two, semi-bad illnesses this year, which is unusual for me, really. I finally got COVID at the beginning of the year. And all this time, went on a trip, wasn't feeling good when I left, probably should never have gone, and got very, very sick with COVID. A few days after we got back, my husband also had it. It was lots and lots of fun. Don't recommend it. But it took me a really long time to recover. My energy was just, the simplest things would just make me so tired and fatigued, which is also not like me. I don't think it was just COVID. I think it was burnout with caregiving over many, many years. I don't really know. But the downtime I had during this process, I read a book that I'd had for a long time but hadn't read, and it was about energy medicine. And that took me into a really deep dive into Donna Eden's energy medicine. And I personally have found it to be super helpful. So I would definitely recommend checking out Donna Eden if you're struggling with emotions or chronic illness, or like me, your energy. You just can't get your energy to what you're used to. I found it to be incredibly healthy. I'm not a practitioner, but I do share some energy medicine practices as well, because I just find them so helpful that I want to share them. Anyway, that was the first illness. And then I was feeling really good, actually. And we went on a trip a month ago. And everything was fine the first couple of days. And then I just woke up really sick, really literally, just completely out of the blue. And it was all the things. We had gone out to celebrate my mother-in-law's 90th birthday, and I got sick right on her birthday. And of course, I didn't want to get her sick. Luckily, we had the space, so I could isolate from her. I couldn't eat. Couldn't eat for a couple of days. I had a slight fever. And then we had to go home, fly across the country. It was lots of fun. And then it morphed into a cold. I don't get colds real often. And then on top of all of that, I got pink eye. It was just so much fun. And it took a couple of weeks before I started to feel better again. And, that's what colds do. They generally take about 10 days to 2 weeks. They are usually a signal that you're just out of balance. You've been doing too much. I didn't feel like I was, quite frankly, but it takes a lot of prep to go and get Bandit, all set up before I leave. It's stressful. But one of the big differences between the beginning of the year and this past illness is once I started to get better, I really got better and I bounced back pretty quickly. And my energy has been pretty good. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And the reason why I am so long-winded in telling you all of that is because the things I am sharing in this video, in the previous video, the week before, these are the things that I do. I can't tell you for sure that they have, helped me to bounce back more, but I believe in my heart that they actually have. And the best thing about these practices, excuse me, you don't have to believe in them, but try them. Using acupressure along with Yin Yoga can take you deeper into your practice. It can help you heal emotions more, heal illnesses more, or at least make them better. It's really two things that go well together, in my personal opinion. There are very, very well-known and very, not just well-known, but very good teachers who know much more than, probably forgotten more than I know at this point, and I've been teaching about 5 years now, who will tell you that Yin Yoga is not traditional Chinese medicine, which is absolutely true. But I believe that it is somewhat based on traditional Chinese medicine. And I believe that there are aspects of traditional Chinese medicine that can help you enhance your Yin Yoga practice as well. Okay, if you have any further questions about acupressure, or about these couple of practices where I have shared some acupressure points, if you have questions about that, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them, maybe in a comment, maybe in another vlog. If you enjoyed this vlog, please go ahead and click the like button. And if you'd like to subscribe and practice some Yin Yoga with me as well, that doesn't always include acupressure, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. And I look forward to practicing with you again.